What's up, guys? Thanks for being here. It is Proper Royals Live. I got Dennis McNamara on tonight. I'm chuckling in the cold open because Dennis and I have already been hanging out, and we both just realized we actually need to go do a show and not hang out. So let's get to it. Good evening, everybody. I hope that you're doing well. It is Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 7 o'clock here in Minnesota. I cannot believe it. I ordered a little snake package from Florida today that's shipping out tomorrow. The high in Minnesota is going to be the same temperature as the high in Florida tomorrow. I don't know what's going on, but hey, we can drag out summer as long as we can here in Minnesota. I'm down with it. I hope you all are doing well. I'm feeling good. I've got tons going on, which I think is actually my happy place. Like sitting still, I wouldn't say a worry. I just think about dumb things like, what if this, what if that? Whereas if I'm busy, I just go do stuff. And if I'm doing stuff focused on work, good things happen. So, I vended in Sioux Falls, South Dakota this past week. Really good show, really good experience to kind of kick off my second half of show season. I kind of do a lot in the spring and then a lot through the fall. It was very good. It was great to get out and be out on the road, get some sales. And, the pet market was pretty strong. I would say my average was a little lower than I would like, but I also would say I don't know that any consumers in that room had any understanding of what, say, super inchy clown het ultramel means. So all in all, it was a good show. And look, all those snakes need homes. I'd rather have them sold than be toting them around and feeding them and all of that kind of stuff. So anyhow, thank you, Sioux Falls. If I met you in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, it was a pleasure. I really enjoyed the town and the arena and the place where the show was at. So see you again in the springtime. They're building a really cool show there. This Sunday is the Minneapolis Cold-Blooded Expos show. That's here at the State Fairgrounds it's actually technically, I think it's in St. Paul, but here in Minneapolis. And that's always a great show. I'll be there and you'll see a lot of good vendors like JSA will be there. MBK will be there. Who else? I bet Tim Simon will be there. I thought Schumann was coming. He's not coming up. Anyhow, come on out, come hang out, come see some cool animals, maybe come buy some animals if you are in the area. Saturday was the second installment of the Epic Conference. If you missed it, there's 16 different sessions plus a 17th, which is the keynote speech, keynote talk, keynote session delivered by Emily Roberts from Snake Discovery. Check this out now. So you could go to the website and see all the content, which is epic.live. Or you can go, it's all free. There's no paywall, no nothing that it's behind. All the content is right there on YouTube now. It's Epic-Conference is the subscription or the channel title on it. So all the content is there. It's all free. It'll be there forever. And stay tuned because the content from the first session will be, or the first installment. What do you call it? You can't call it an episode because each one has like 16 episodes. But the first time we did Epic back in spring 2025, that content will be on YouTube before too long as well. We'll get that uploaded. And when I say we, there's actually several of us, Craig from Bash Coder and Nikki from Irresistible Pythons and myself were the primary producers this time. We'll get all that stuff updated and put onto the website. So that's accessible at any time. There's great stuff on there from tarantulas, tree frogs, short-tail pythons, of course, ball pythons, business. Bob Bledsoe's on there. Adam Wickens is on there. Emily Roberts. Retics. Oh, US Arc. Phil Goss jumped in. Phil is hard to get, man, by the way. I had nothing to do with it. That's not me tooting my own horn. Phil is on there. So go check it out. Thanks to everybody that supported it and checked it out. And of course, thanks to the sponsors on that one as well. So that ended up being going very well, being a success. What else we got? Tinley coming up. I will have animals. Look at this. I got the jersey that fits. It's customized. That's the captain there. Those of y'all that ordered your custom jerseys, I do have them in. I'll be bringing them to Tinley, or I'll be shipping them out to you this week. I'll get them shipped out before Tinley for you. Thanks for the support on those. If you didn't get your own custom jersey and you want one, you can't get it customized anymore, but at Tinley, I will have these jerseys, and they're individually numbered, and the name just says Proper Royals across the top. So come by the booth and check that out. Also at the booth, I talked to Chris from B and S Reptilia. He and I actually co-own. We invested together on one of only two that I know of, rainbow clowns, and she's plenty big enough, plenty healthy enough. She's up above 1,000 grams already. We're going to bring her to Tinley. We'll have her at the booth if you want to check out a rainbow clown as well. Ball python, that is, of course. We'll have that at the booth there. And then I will have a good supply I just got a restaurant delivery order of dishwasher safe, reusable deli cups. I've got for sure 8-ounce size and 16-ounce, but I think I've got the 12-ounces too. I'm going to double check that, but they are dishwasher safe and reusable. So you can use those for your water cups. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, they fit into like the cup holders of the Freedom Breeder and ARS tubs that are so common that we all use. So there you go. Tonight's brought to you right here, ad free by Palm Street. As always, Proper Royals live content is now brought to you ad free by the good folks from Palm Street. It's a live selling platform. You can sell in real time using your own personality, interacting with buyers in real time, answering questions in real time, showing your animals in real time. If you want to learn more about it, go check out palmstreet.app, and the link to apply to sell is right down in the description down there. You can click right through on that from the description if you want to check that out. I think that's what I got for announcements. That's plenty to keep us excited, right? So Dennis McNamara is on the show tonight from DJM Reptiles. Dennis and I have become pretty good friends, and I was trying to think, like I usually tell a little story of like, I met Dennis, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't recall how we initially connected, but it was a good connection when we did. We always have a good time hanging out. I appreciate Dennis's insights, and he's, I don't know, he's easy to work with, easy to get along with, and we're heading into Tinley. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call up Dennis, see if he wants to do the show. And he was kind enough to oblige. So please welcome back to the Proper Royal stage. I think this is I know it's at least the third time as like the guest, but he maybe has hung out and like some of the round tables or something more times. Anyway, welcome back, my friend Dennis McNamara. Dennis, what's going on, man? It is good. It's good. How many times has this you been on here now? At least 3.
I was thinking it's 3. I don't know. Maybe I feel like it's 3. I don't know. Maybe 4. I don't know.
There's at least 3 thumbnails of you. So I don't know. I couldn't remember if you did like one of like the year end, like hangouts or breeder roundtable thing, or
I don't believe I've ever done a roundtable, but I feel like I know we did one before the last Tinley. Maybe we did. Did we do one in the winter before the last?
No, it's this spring, 6 months ago.
Spring.
It was, yeah. And it was actually right after Tinley. We did like a Tinley wrap up kind of thing. But before that, it had been about a year. So you'd been like say, I know for sure it's been 3 times, but, anyhow, now that we've dusted off your resume with Proper Royals, how you doing? Thanks for making time, man.
I'm good. Busy, but life is good. No complaints.
Excellent. That's a good way to be, I think. Busy with no complaints. It's like that's what we can hope for. I gotta say hey to Cory. I haven't seen Cory around recently.
How's it going there, buddy?
Yeah, I hope Cory's well. Cory, you bringing some chameleons out? You still in the chameleon game? You coming up to Tinley? I hope to see you, man. Cory's been a really good resource and help to me along the way. So hope to get to see you, Cory. Safe travels. I don't know. We got Tinley coming up. You just got done with Daytona. You did Siri the week before then. Why why do these? And plus, you're in Virginia. Like, none of those are super convenient for you.
Nothing
Why
is
you
close.
do all those?
Nothing is close. Well, Daytona I do because I've just done it and it's just fantastic. Like Daytona is my favorite show to go to. I've done it since the 90s. I haven't missed one since like I think 95, I believe.
30 years, huh?
Yeah. So, and I have just a group of friends like Craig Trumbauer, and actually there's some friends that live here that we get together with. And there's just a lot of other, and then a lot of like, Dale and Jason Kittinger and, there's just so many people down there. Barry, like and Winston and Brock, like I really enjoy seeing all those people. And then I go down there with Chad Holker and Scott Crumbly, and just Chad and I have been doing this forever together. Scott's been doing it with us too. Scott took a break for kids in the middle. I'm trying to do my best to not do that. But no, just doing that. And then the Siri thing is really, Bob puts on one hell of a show. He does a great job. He gets a lot of people in the door.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's kind of, I don't know if you want to say, I feel like it was that Rob Van Dam, like the next big thing or whatever. Like, I feel like, I think that, Bob does things kind of over and above, and he makes it so you want to be there, so that's good. And then Tinley, I feel like, is one of those, like, I honestly do better at the other, typically I do better at the other shows than I do at Tinley, but Tinley's kind of like, you have to be there, I feel like. And, I have a lot of stuff to bring this time, so hopefully this one will be the outlier, and we'll see what happens.
There you go. I think we were talking a little bit off stage about it, but yeah, I agree. Like, if you can do Tinley, you almost have to, or you should. And then for me, I realize that my business model is a little different than everybody else's, but just the business behind the business, so to speak. Like, there's like the floor revenue that gets done, but then like, you could sell wholesale stuff. If you could do breeder deals with each other, the advertising opportunities or collaboration opportunities.
Well, it's the biggest stage. It's really, it's kind of like it's kind of like the, I don't want to say the who's who to make myself sound fancy, but like, you kind of like the fact that you can get in there, you kind of can't let go of it. And then really there's just a lot. I have the same thing as in Daytona. You have just a great group of people that you hang out with there.
Yeah.
I have a few different dinners that I do. That's what some of my friends are like, oh, can we do something? I'm like, I'm already kind of booked, like, as far as like
right.
the nights go. And not to sound whatever, but it's like, I don't know. Those are like, I have a dinner with Vin Russo every Friday we go there, and he's going to be there. And so, like, with what happened with him, regardless of what happened with him, I would always have dinner with him just because I enjoy his company, and he's been a good mentor, friend, I don't know, all kinds of things to me. And
yep.
And then we have another group of friends that we go out with. And so it's just a great thing to go do. But man, is it a kick your ass weekend, to drive there, there's shows.
The lack of sleep. It's not even like, it can be partying lack of sleep, but it's not even partying lack of sleep. It's just lack of sleep because you're just going straight ahead, and there's so much opportunity of things to get done. Like,
right.
Even just at the bar afterwards, like, you don't like, I ended up sitting with DJ Van Wyck from Reptiles for Centuries just on a whim. We talked for like an hour and a half one night. I was like, well, I'm not going to walk away from this conversation if I have the opportunity to pick this guy's brain, but there's only so many hours in the day. So sleep takes the back, the back burner.
And as I get older, I seem to drink less, which is probably a good thing. So it's like, those more lucid at the end of the night, like having those conversations. And then I get to the point where I'm like, I'm good. Let's just go to bed. I'm good to, I can go to sleep now. And I'm,
I forgot I've had the car wash long enough that I've told people the soap stories from. They're not even that good. They're just aha moments that you learn from different business things. That's funny, Cory. That's what you bring up. Last time that you were on, you talked about like having a variety of species. What are some of the things that you're bringing? Do you still find value in the variety? Do you have different things in the spring than you do in the fall? What do you look for?
Yeah, I have actually I've been really late in ball pythons, so like I'm bringing some, but everything's like, I have 2 clutches that are just coming out right now. I've still got clutches in the incubator. Yeah. I've got a couple clutches that are out that have had like 2 to 3 meals. So I'm like, they're on the verge, but I'm figuring by the time we go, I could probably get another meal or 2 into them.
I could say you got 10 days. Like, I can get probably 2 meals into them is what I'm thinking between now and then. Yeah.
But so I have a variety of ball pythons mainly, and it's all kind of simple, pretty stuff, like some super orange dream banana clown stuff, some orange dream banana clown stuff, some orange dream yellow belly pieds, like stuff like some candinos, like really just basic sellable, pretty stuff is kind of what I like anyway. And so I have that. I've got some olive pythons, some maculatus pythons, some water pythons, got some corn snakes, some albino Hondurans. I don't know what else I have over there. That might be it, but I mean, I don't know. It's like 6 or 7 species.
I was going to say, right there is a whole bunch of species. What about like, what do you say, or what can you talk about to ball python breeders that, like, whether it's Tinley or any other show, that say to themselves, like, I don't really have the stuff to go vend X show.
I don't understand when people say that, in all honesty, because I think you can go with anything. You know, if you like, really, the whole point is that you go out there and you talk to somebody, and there's something on your table. I know it's kind of funny that I say I don't have a whole lot of stuff out, because I feel like I had a whole bunch of just leftover stuff in March. And so I was like, I didn't really have anything that was great. And I was like, but I have, like, if this stuff hatches out and I can get a couple of meals, and I've got like some Cypress banana clown stuff coming out. That,
cool.
But really I'm finding, for me, like, I don't need to go. I don't even know that I'm as excited about the double recessive or the triple recessive things. I like it when, like, I texted some of my friends yesterday and I'm like, man, I've got like 4 clutches of banana clown combos coming out. Like, I think I have a Enchi leopard banana clown over there that's just coming out. I'm like, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about the rest of it. I like to make just stuff that's pretty, and, you know, the value can go up and down, but the value is fairly steady with a lot of that stuff. So I'm happy making stuff that I think is pretty. I could really care less about the value, because it all adds up. I also find that my best shows are the ones that you get those $100, $300, $400 sales over and over again. You know, I've had shows where you sell 30 snakes. You know, you do that times $300 to $500. Like, that adds up pretty quick.
Hell yeah, that's a lot. Adds up. That's a whole lot of money, man.
Yeah, like, and then I've had shows where I sell a $1,500 or $2,500 snake or things like that, but those are harder to do, you know. And there's a little bit more, like, I've kind of made it so I had stuff that was that value, and then as the market has changed, it's kind of gone down. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like whenever I'm chasing, I'm putting more money back in. So I'd rather just make the stuff that I know is going to be consistent and pretty, and stuff that I like. If I don't like to look at it, then I don't need it.
Yeah. And this is like a really small sample size. I feel like a lot of people that had reached a certain echelon level, you know, making triple visuals, so to let's just use that. Relatively very few people have ever done that. And there's like a choice that either they have to, quote, you know, go backwards because of the market a little bit, or they're just like, you know what, I don't think I want to start over or climb a different hill with a different clientele. And I wonder, like, I think it's all cyclical. There's people buying a banana clown right now that are going to get so excited about it, and in 3 years are going to be looking for a double and a triple, because that's what happened to a lot of us. That's what the past boom was about, was a whole bunch of people discovering that, and then a smaller portion of that crew going, I want to go do this. And, you know, one of us buys a car wash. But so I wonder, like, how long that cycle takes. But I also just, like, how do I put it? How do you get, do you have I think you just answered, but do you have a problem going, yeah, I used to do that stuff, but right here is where, you know, it's fun, it's beautiful, it's where the market is, and now it's what sells.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever really am that worried. Like, I am so internalizing, like, questioning my projects, my snakes, my caging, my whatever, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's weird that I've been doing this so long professionally and privately, and like, I could overhaul this whole place tomorrow and try to do something different with reptiles. But like I'm always like, is this the best way to do it? Is that the best way to do it? And really, like, does it really, I don't know that it matters what you're making. As long as you like it, you're going to find people that enjoy it. And they're also going to give you something to talk about with some people. And then you may actually show them what it is that you're passionate about. And then you kind of go on these things, and then you build friendships and you build relationships that you may not realize you're even going to do. I mean, I've had people buy multiple animals, and then a lot of those people end up calling you and asking you for questions, or
Of course.
to help ID things or to do all that kind of stuff. But I really like it, as long as I'm getting in trouble because I'm on the phone with my kids and wife are doing something, then I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't know why people think that they don't hit the right stage. I think if you can afford to go now, realize if you're going to go to Tinley, it's going to be like Scott and I go to, so we share some costs, but like it's going to be $1,500 to walk in the door.
That's
maybe
right.
More.
Now we're talking about to vend, not to
to vend and stay and drive.
Yeah,
and I mean, that
right.
$1,500 might be low, but like I'd have to look at that. But
that's the number I use. Like to buy the table, to drive there, to get the hotel, to eat, and to get home is $1,500.
Yeah, so it's going to be so if you realize you can do that, and you can go there and you can make. I don't know. We got to figure out what it's worth it. It depends on, hopefully you can multiply that number by a couple to make it worth it, but that doesn't always happen. So you've got to make sure that you've got things. And, I do have stuff that I can wholesale. I have stuff that if I were to bring a chunk of corn snakes, if I were to sell those wholesale, I might pick out a couple of the best ones that I would keep, or like the hunter and stuff like that. I have some things that I'll wholesale and some things that I won't, and so just pick and choose what you like and talk to people, and it'll all work out. Don't try so hard. That's what I think is the thing. People try so hard, and that's what makes they get in their own head, and it's just do it.
Yeah. It's weird how life is like that. I get myself in trouble with this comment sometimes, but like when I was like the single guy and like I was like trying to meet somebody,
right,
sucked at it.
Right.
The nights I didn't give a damn and I was just gonna go do what I wanted to do, usually went pretty well. And it was like, it's weird how life does that, where you just like just go be you kind of thing, and things go pretty well.
Yeah, and I think that happens with the animals too. If you don't overanalyze it, which again, I overanalyze everything, but like as far as that goes, but keep it simple, do the things you're doing. If you're going to change something, don't change too much at a time, and pick the stuff that you like and don't go overboard, and it'll all work out.
Yeah. I like that. I think it's, at the end of the day, we got to keep the lights on and figure some things out like that. But I do think that the overarching philosophy of that is exactly correct. Here's a topic you and I haven't talked about before that just kind of occurred to me. You have all these species, and there's cool species that intrigue me. And I always feel like I don't need to learn a new thing. I don't need to it took me, I'm still trying to figure out ball pythons, but but that's sort of the business of it. I know how to keep them, but like the equipment is specialized. And then, I kind of don't really need pets or a hobby. I got enough pets and hobbies. So if I do get a new species, I at least want it to basically pay for itself, which means then I have to have a business mindset on it,
right?
Which means I need specialized equipment, which could overlap with ball pythons. But what I'm really getting to is, how long does it take you to feel like you have it together with a new species? Now, granted, you work professionally in a zoo with reptiles.
Yeah.
So,
and I start now that I'm old, I guess, but like when I started doing this in the early 90s, like everybody had like a pair of this, a pair of that, a pair of this. And I worked in the pet store. And so we had all these different things. And so, when my initial collection was like a pair of carpet pythons and a pair of green tree pythons and a pair of Sonoran gopher snakes and some, what else? I had some Savu python, like the stuff when I had was some rosy boas. So it was kind of like doing all these different things. I had some Dune Rolls boas in there, and really just trying to you just kind of pick and choose how you're going to tweak things. And then it's really not that hard as long as you're paying attention and you see what they're doing. For me, what I've figured out is I do pythons and boas up higher. Well, some of the boas are more low, and then I do colubrids on the bottom. And so the bottom of my racks are black milks and Honduran milk snakes and things like that. I've got a couple of corn snakes. There's a rack over here that's all corn snakes. And so they don't have any heat. These guys have heat. And so I just have it so it's all kind of mixed around. Mm-hmm. And so I can put things on the other side of this thing. I have my short tails and bloods. And so they're actually, they don't have any heat on them. They're just ambient, but so I have it 81 in here for now. And then in the winter I can drop it down, and really I do everything in one room. I'm getting ready to add another room per se, so I'm going to probably adjust it a little bit more as time goes on. But I don't know that I really think it's that. I guess it's just because what I've always known. I don't really find it that hard to adjust. It also makes it like I enjoy paying attention.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
When I open it up, I'm like, where are you sitting? What are you doing? Did you get in the water bowl and push everything out? Because sometimes the water bowl is security. Sometimes you're trying to cool down. So is there something else I need to tweak? Do I need to drop the temperature more? Do I need to water you more? Do I need to change the substrate? So it's like it makes it so it's always kind of, I don't know, it's kind of always evolving and always kind of like, I don't know, interesting. It makes it interesting. So I'm always kind of tweaking things.
Do you have any species that you keep that are not snakes, or is everything you keep snakes?
We have some tortoises. So we have we have a group of redfoot tortoises outside right now. For the spring, summer, and fall, they're outside, and we have some Western Herman's tortoises. And they're all outside. They'll come in the winter. And then other than not in my room. So my son has a bearded dragon. My wife has a crested gecko.
Right.
But as far as other things than that, those are it.
Gotcha. And then what will you drop your room to in the wintertime? I caught you said you drop it a little bit. Is it a couple degrees at 10 degrees?
I would say at night, I get in the low, 73, 74.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I have gotten it down in the 60s, but I really don't go that low anymore. I don't really see a need for it. And I've a lot of those milk snake species breed in the corn snake. I don't even cool them. I just keep them in here and let it all cool down. I don't feed them at that point in time. And they all do really well like that. So I just kind of adjust and do that. Now I've got some other things growing up that are probably going to need more of a cool cycle. So that's kind of why I think we're going to have a little bit of adjustment as things go on.
Oh, with the second room?
Yeah. So we'll see how it all goes. But the second room is going to be probably mainly colubrid stuff's going to go in that room. And then I'm also going to I want to set up a rack of exoterra stuff. So basically because we have a pool and kids here all the time, I want to have kind of a display area. So maybe you don't come into this room and there's going to be doors between them. So you can kind of come in, you can see.
You can see some cool stuff, but so the work area, the work.
Yeah. So we'll have a section that's made more or less. So I can kind of show it off and do that. And then have the work room behind it kind of thing.
I can't remember if I've asked you before or not. What do you do for rodents? You have a lot of animals to feed. What do you do for feed?
Yeah, so my friend Scott that I go to the shows with, he breeds rodents. So I go over to his house and get rodents. We have a guy named Anthony Lecomte that lives in Hampton that's, 45 minutes away. And he'll meet me and I buy frozen from him.
Gotcha.
So that's really what I've done for a while. And there's also a local pet store that I have a good friend that owns, and he takes care of me. So if I can't get to any of those things, I can buy stuff from him at, it's not pet store prices, it's not wholesale prices, but it's good enough that it saves. It's good enough for gas money.
There you go. Why, with all the animals that you keep, I love the debates and I've been on both sides of the debate. So, and these days I raise my own rodents, but, and I still do supplement with Cold-Blooded Cafe for sure. But why not breed your own rodents?
Man, it's hard enough to get this stuff done. Plus I don't know where I would do it. I mean, I guess I could put a shed up in the back or something like that. But, I have a 6 and a 9-year-old and cheer practice and dance and soft soccer and baseball and, work and this, I don't know that it would be even possible for me to do it well.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I have actually a lab rack outside.
Oh yeah.
It's a stainless steel one that comes from those Pennsylvania or whatever. I have one that's out there because I had these aspirations of at least setting up a mouse colony that I could do baby stuff with. Mm-hmm. But it still sits out. I don't know where I'd even put it. And I thought about, we're adding on a garage at the moment, which is we're adding a garage in this new room.
Yeah.
And so I had aspirations of putting a mouse rack in there, in the garage part, but I don't know that I'm going to do it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in life.
Yeah. Is your weather temperate enough where your rodents could just be outside?
I don't know. It gets hot here and, we're in the 90s for a good portion of the summer for at least a couple of months. And then I'd say that the January and Februarys are pretty cold. I mean, they're not Minnesota cold, but they're, I'd say the majority of nights are probably 40-degree lows, 30-degree lows, but you get like that 6 weeks where you might get the rare single digit, but you're probably going to get like into the teens a few nights.
Yeah.
So I don't know that they'd be okay. I mean, if they're in a garage, I think so maybe, but not outside.
Oh, definitely. I would think in the garage. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder about that. And I have some friends in Florida that one in particular, he's like, yeah, I just keep all the rodents on the back porch. I'm like, you do?
When I went to Craig Trumbauer's, I stayed at his house a year or two ago. He has a shed in the backyard, and his rats and mice are all out just in the shed. No heat, no air, just windows open and a fan in Tallahassee.
Man, that seems like I only have ASF experience, but my ASFs at that temperature would be toast. They'd be dead.
I mean, they're in the shaded area, but that guy's, everything he has is pristine, but like it was pristine. Like there was, like it was, I was like, wow, this is kind of makes you think. It makes you go, well, maybe I could do this, but
yeah. Now I know like Jeremy Bod, he's got I guess it's really a building, but maybe you'd call it a shed, but he has tons of airflow through that one. I mean, that's in St. Pete area, but he's got tons of airflow. That was the first time I realized that I was allergic to rodents. This was very early in my ball python experience. And first time I'd been in a rodent facility. And that was the first time I learned I was allergic to it. He thought I was going to die in that room. I just immediately was just like, oh, what
and
is
now
this?
Look at you.
Well, I know, but I wear masks and like, even I can't imagine what my neighbors think. Like I had a customer come by today and I just have people message me when they're there, open the door with gloves in my It's funny because I used to tell customers, hey, you got to be discreet. Now I'm like, make sure they see you're walking out with rodents and not meth. Okay. Like I'm not dealing drugs out of here. I'm dealing.
You know what that makes me think? I feel like you should have like death metal playing in the door and behind you when you open up the thing and there you are in your mask.
Yeah. Well, I made a really strategic, concerted effort to give a tour to the local law enforcement representative when he came by one day. I was like, you know what? He's like, I heard you got snakes in there. I'm like, yeah, you want to see him? Why don't you come in for a tour? He's like, can I? I was like, yeah, come on. I was like, I need to make sure this guy knows that it actually is just snakes and rodents in here.
Well, and better to have it on your terms than on some crazy terms.
Yeah. And, and I think sort of switching topics just a little bit, I think the time is right that there's a little bit of like, we could come out of the shadows. We could be an upstanding community that is not just like creepy headlines about somebody getting bitten from free handling a venomous snake. So it's hard because I've got a lot to lose, but I do take a little bit of pride in that. And I take confidence that I called the town before I bought this commercial facility. And I said, I want to make sure that I have, the legal blessing, but also the town blessing. It doesn't make any sense for me to put 6 figures into this town if somebody's going to go to the city council and go, I don't like this. We need to make a resolution. And
right. That happened to like the snake keeper. Didn't that happen to the snake keeper oh my goodness. The Sutherlands? I thought one of those people, I thought they lived in like Utah or something like that. And where they lived was like, you can't have your animals here. They had to move it or some.
I've heard stories of, in Tennessee, and those were friends from Florida that moved to Tennessee, was that, they basically brought up a motion to the town council because there was nothing outlawing it. And I'm actually not sure how that came out. I hope they got a little bit of legal support or backup or whatever, but it's kind of funny. Like I went to the Chamber of Commerce meeting and it was like, as a car wash owner, I'm a member of the chamber. And like the town, I don't know what it is, the town planner, the town manager, he was there talking with the other lady and she's like, well, it looks like you got your office renovated and everything. And I saw the guy like chuckle a little bit and I was like, he knows. And the office renovation is the snake facility, and I just told her, I was like, yeah, there's snakes back there. She's like, what? But I don't think it does. I think the more that I like hide it or lie or dodge it, it's a small town. There's only 4,000 people in town. They're going to know, people are going to know. Right. And I'd rather it be like, oh, he seems like a pretty good dude versus, well, yeah, of course it's creepy, and he lies about it. I would rather at least be like, hey, I'm upstanding. You want to come check it out? Come check it out. I don't care.
Right.
So
I think that makes sense. That's why I kind of want to have this whole little display area, because right now, like, I let some people come in here, but I try not to let the whole world come in here.
Mm-hmm.
And some of my kids are like, they'll tell people, and I'm like, why you tell them? Or you have that one friend that comes over that's like, oh, have you seen his snakes? And I'm like, dude, like, and that's why I'm like, let's have a place where we can go that's like, this is it. This is what you can see.
Yeah. I still struggle with that because I want to choose who I let in. Obviously, like, there's, along with biohazard stuff, there's just safety stuff. I just want to be safe. I'm a one-man show in there. So and the other thing from the town was like, they're like, well, are you going to put up a big sign that just says like snakes in here with flashing arrows? And I was like, no, actually, I prefer not to have a sign at all. And they're like, oh, this sounds like a good deal. So like, it's part of my arrangement that I keep a low profile. So I try and balance that, but yeah, I don't, for the record, anybody watching, it's not just open. You can't just show up and stroll in. Like, it's not a shopping shop. It's a workshop where I work and work at my business, so that's hard stuff. I don't know, but yeah, I kind of wrestle with it with my son too. Although Charlie's kind of caught on to the lingo of, we'll keep a low profile unless dad's already talking about it,
Yeah. So then, like, right now, the door to get in here is in the house. With this new thing we're doing, you're going to have to go through the laundry room, through the garage, or just through the garage. So it's going to be one of those things where you can't come in through the main part of the house. It's going to be only through the garage area. So you're going to have to go through the laundry room or through the garage to get in. Yeah.
Do you, like, if you have customers coming and maybe, do you meet people somewhere, or do you have customers come? Yeah.
I don't have them come here. I have had people ask me if they can come over here. And I mean, we have a pretty sweet pad as far as having people over and whatever else. So if we invite you over, then sure. But if it's somebody that I don't really know, then I have kids and,
right.
So, I mean, I've got this place now, I've got 5 cameras going around just in case,
yeah. Right.
So I have got cameras on the back door, the front door, the backyard, the back fence line, all of that, just in case, and, it's kind of, it's also nice with having this work done. I can see what I found is every contractor goes and looks in our backyard. I don't know why. They all go around the house, and I have a camera right there on the back fence, and then I can take a screenshot of it, send it to my general contractor, and be like, "Who's this guy?" Uh-huh. Like, "Oh, that's the electrician. He came over." They all go. So it's interesting to see how many people actually just take liberties and look around your house.
Do you think are they looking for like an alligator, or do they not have any idea that
they should have? I would imagine they have no idea. I think they're just looking. They just go down the side because there's woods behind us. So I kind of wonder if they just go back to see how far it goes back or what. I don't know what they're doing, but they all do it. It's kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy. Now I'm gonna have to like I've got the cameras everywhere, and of course I have them at the facility. Like there's good camera technology out there that is very attainable for a very affordable price. So like I like that, and it's all, I can just monitor everything on here. But yeah, it's a weird balance, but I do like having like not so much like a stranger that's just like, hey, can I come shopping? But like somebody that maybe has already bought a snake from me, or, when you could tell somebody that's like, all right, they're probably going to be breeding, or if they're asking about specific hets, and like they could be a pretty legitimate, important customer kind of thing. Right. I would not invite them to the house ever. Yeah, and I don't have a walkout basement down here, but at least the shop I can, and I could say like, hey, look, there's a camera on the front door. You're going to have to look in there. You're going to have to message me when you get here, and I'm going to have pictures and all that. And then you can come on in after that, and I'll show you a couple things that you're interested in, type of deal.
That's a good idea. No, I went and bought like those blink cameras with the LED light, or the they've got their lights and cameras are like $50 from Home Depot. So I've got those. And so it's nice. I can turn them on whenever I want. I can see what's ever there. They all link as you walk around. I can watch you go all the way around. Yeah. But no, it's a good idea to have people look in it. I never thought about that, but no, I usually just meet them like, where are you close to? I'll meet you at the Food Lion, or I'll meet you at the that local pet store. A lot of times I'll be like, hey, I'll meet you in the parking lot there.
Mm.
That's where I get the rodents half the time. Is I might be like, hey, and sometimes he's funny about it because he sells them stuff, and he'll be like, I'd rather meet in the Food Line parking lot so we're not mixing businesses. And I'm like, whatever makes you comfortable, you know?
Yeah. It's a weird thing to balance, but it's another little thing that's allowed me to like hold my chin up and be a little more confident and a little more sort of business-like when I can say, instead of, hey, I got to meet you at the gas station. Hey, I got this shop here, or I could ship to you overnight. Which do you prefer, kind of deal, you know? And I don't say that like bragging. I say it like it's just a little piece that I've figured out that has kind of really been helpful and that I've found. And I really wished that I had a walkout entrance to the basement here, because then I could have sort of a customer place. But here in the house, like they got to walk through my music studio with all the guitars and everything and my living room to get down here. Like not a chance in hell, you know, it's just not going to happen that you get to come down here, kind of thing.
Right. Well, that's in this house, you would end up walking like you wouldn't realize it's here where it is now. I don't know that you'll realize it's there whenever it goes. Like, you know, just the way the house is set up. Like if I don't show you, then you probably would never know.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that in a residential place, that's probably how you want it. You want to keep it that way too. Especially,
no, for sure.
Like, I don't know how comfy your neighbors are or whatever, but like mine, I'm like,
most of them know, actually. In all honesty, just we've been here. I bought this house in like 2009. So
okay. Yeah.
We know most. The older ones probably don't, but the ones that are in our same age range all know. Yeah.
We have some friends that are catty corner, sort of the back lots to us. They know, but like the two closest neighbors, and especially we got one guy that's like a one-man neighborhood watch program. I'm like, that guy, absolutely not. I need to be fully out of here before he ever catches wind of this story, because I'm sure there'd be some issue, kind of thing. So
right.
I'm like, no, we'll keep that quiet.
Yeah.
So back to shows. You had talked, you've been working some on kind of revamping your setup, and you've been inspired by different things with your show display and your show setup. What did you land on? You like it? I wouldn't say done with it. Are you content with it for a little bit, or what's inspiring you these days?
Well, honestly, I have it so I can kind of adjust it. So it's like I had these deli cup displays made that you can put out there that I did not make a lid for, so that way you can kind of pick things up, because I found them for cheaper stuff. And also with some of actually I have a whole bunch of short-tail pythons. I can't believe I forgot to say those. So I have a lot of Sumatran short-tail pythons too. But stuff like that, I can set it up. I can put it in there. It's a lot less stress on the animal than pulling it out of the boxes. And so really what I can do is I can kind of measure it out. Like those things are 3 feet. I know the tub, the ARS are 2 feet. So I can kind of go through and figure out what my display is going to be like. I'll see what Scott has bringing and be like, hey, how many of these things do you need? We have some for small deli cups, some for bigger deli cups, and I can kind of mix and match and figure out what I want. And I like, Mark Mandic said this one time, and I was looking at his thing, and he was like, it's boring when you look at it, it's all just acrylic all the way across. He's like, you need that breakup of some sort. And I had already been doing it, but I was like, it really makes sense to me, because that's how I try to do exhibits at work, and that's how I have it so it's not all the same. So I try to like do ARS deli cup, something like that. So it just kind of has a little flow like that. And then I can really try to make it adjust it. And so it looks kind of fits the needs and fits whatever else is going on.
I'm envisioning, when you say a deli cup display, I'm envisioning like the angled ones that are almost like cornhole boards, but with a whole bunch of holes that you put them in.
Yep.
Why that instead of just stacks? They stack already. Like you can fit a lot of them.
No, that's true.
Right there already.
So the one thing for me, this is me being, is with those holes, I can look over at a glance and I can tell that everything is in the hole. So you can't take one off the table without me realizing that there's something missing.
Yeah.
So because I found, like, especially stuff that's cheaper, people seem to like to touch it, pick it up, look at it. And I also, in looking at some of the ones that have glass on top of them, the glare is no good. Like, it's just another thing that breaks through as far as like you looking at it. So I just felt it was better. I wouldn't mind having something to put over it, like at night. We just pull all the deli cups at night and put them in a box. But it just makes me feel like it's a little bit more open. It's a little bit more, you can kind of interact with it a little bit, and then I can really, at a glance, I can look and make sure everything's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrestle with the theft thing too. I've never been, well, actually at Tinley, somebody stole one of my hats. I do know that, which thanks for the compliment. Apparently you like it enough to steal it,
Right.
but like, come on, buddy. And I'm sure it was a guy because anyway, it doesn't matter. But I've never had that, to the best of my knowledge, an animal stolen from me. And I'm certain I haven't, because
neither that I know of.
Yeah. I've just recently, started using either deli cups, or I like the square ones from Redline. They kind of stick out a little bit and look, I like things that look sharp, but also look different. Like just for somebody to go, oh, that's different. Like, cause truth be told, most of my animals aren't that different. So I need something to differentiate,
Right.
So I like that kind of eye catching thing, but I do really wrestle with like, I can't stand thievery, and it would just ruin my day, probably more than even the value of the animal. It would just put me in a bad mood.
No,
I don't like that.
I can understand that completely. Yeah. And really, like, there's always one of us there, and so it makes it so. I don't know. It's big enough that you can see it. I don't feel worried about it whenever we're there. So everything is kind of where it needs to be, and I don't know, I like the way it looks. There's part of me that wouldn't even mind doing the whole damn thing like that. I think that would make it a little bit, just because it's a little bit different than everybody else's too.
Right.
People are starting to do a little bit more deli cup stuff. And I know Chad does a huge deli cup section on his, but he just puts them all out there. But he has more stuff to put out than me. And I don't know, for whatever reason, however he does it, I think it looks so nice. And whenever I do it, I don't feel like it looks that nice. So I'm not sure what, maybe it's just the volume. So, but for me, it just works.
Yeah. I find it interesting because, like, literally by definition, the deli cups are a cheaper alternative. I never really liked the presentation of deli cups. Like, I like the sleek acrylic. I like the philosophy of it. Hey, let's represent these animals really well. But damn it, the customers don't like them. Like, they like the deli cups, man. I can't quite get my head around it, other than just accepting that the customers like it. So, okay, then. I guess.
What I've done recently too is kind of weird. Is like, I seem to put all my ball pythons in acrylics, and then all the other species in deli cups.
Okay.
And so there's kind of like, and I'll try to like differentiate. So this rack is maybe all banana stuff or banana clown stuff, and this rack is what I know. So it kind of goes down and has a little bit of organization to it.
I was going to ask about that. So yeah. All right. So you're making the point that the organization you like, I want the display to be like as visually nice as like an individual snake. So I'll want contrast across a certain display. If
I do that sometimes too. So
yeah, if a certain part of the display is like too dark, I'll put some Candinos or Pieds in there to lighten it up. And likewise, if it's just a blast of yellow, well, then that's going to need some darker stuff over there. And I tell myself, well, if somebody's looking for, say, a banana clown, and I just go, oh, they're only right there, they're not going to look at all the other stuff that might catch their eye, But I don't know if that's true or not. I have no, that's just in my head, I think.
Yeah, and I'll have to see what it's like this time too. But again, like I wish these couple clutches were out, because there's just so much color in these couple clutches that I'm waiting for. I'm waiting on a couple Cypress banana combo clutch, and then a orange dream banana clown combo clutch.
Yeah.
So, like, just the color in that, man, it's so simple, but it makes me want to do just that. It makes me want to do nothing else other than those. It's what it is. Like, really.
Yeah.
It's crazy when I pull those out. I'm like, why am I like, I feed this, I have an Enchi chocolate triple het hypo clown DG, and I'm like, yeah, like
you're like, in 9 years that'll be fun, or I can make all the bananas between now and then.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I don't know. There's part of me that's like, why am I doing this? I don't know, but
yeah,
but I wanted, but I really like. I have a DG hypo chocolate Enchi male that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, imagine that. I know that JP's made that, but like, there's some of that stuff is super cool, and like, so it's worth making.
I think
it's just not as exciting to get there.
Yeah, oh, and I think there's the balance. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say so. I mean, I made triple hets this year, just knowing that it's, okay, there's your next 5-7 years right there, Adam. That's what you got to work at. But yeah, I think we've even had this conversation before. But yeah, is there anything cooler than a banana leopard clown crawling out of the egg? Like,
No.
or the first shed, maybe. It's unreal. They look like, I mean, seeing the pet owners' eyes when they saw that part of my table, and I mean, people were just like, that's like a cartoon. I'm like, I know. And this is what I get to do. Like, this is what I hang out with all day working on. And then I come sell them to people like you guys.
Yeah. And I know that this is not reality, but like during COVID, I sold super OD banana clowns for like $2,500.
Yeah.
And I sold, I think I might have sold a super OD banana het clown female for like $1,500 or something like that. And I mean, and there's part of me that was like, damn, I wish I'd have kept those. They're so pretty, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what the value is of them now. I need to look it up to see what they are. But I'm like, yeah, it's hard to beat. I have an ultra male female that I'm growing up. That's just an ultra male I got from Vin. And and I'm like, what am I going to do with that? And then I'm like, is it better than banana? I mean, it's different, but like, I'm like, should I go down that road or should I just stick with what I have? I don't know. The problem with stuff like that is that one ultra male snake is going to turn into 10.
It is. Yeah. Cause you're going to need the project, but I think like, of course the answer is that it's eye of the beholder kind of thing, but like, I think ultra male's right up there. I think the ultra male clowns are just doing an additional level. So like, I'm in love with that. And I've made some headway there. I actually hatched some last year. I missed this year. I think I've got one more clutch to hatch. We'll see if I hit those, but like, and for me, it was just finding things that I just went, that's going to excite me. Like actually a lot of people are onto this now, but the first time I saw super gravels and then I saw a super gravel clown, I was like, nobody's done anything with this.
Right.
And that's the base. I was like, I could do that for the next 10 years. And then of course, like any good idea, I'm not the only person that thought of that. And I start looking around and I'm like, what? Ugh, all these people, they're beating me to it, but it's still cool.
People don't follow through.
It's true.
I think that's one of those things. I've had all these aspirations of, I should do that. And then I myself don't follow through. And then I look at it later on and I'm like, man, I should have followed through. I think if you have something that you like that, and you think it's because somebody else is thinking the same thing as you and going, oh man, there's a whole bunch of these around and they're going to do something else. And if you made those things consistently with some other stuff in them, I mean, you could kill it.
I agree 100%. I think that this saying comes from like the tech development community, but one of my buddies he's just that he's a web developer. I said one time to him, I was like, well, I don't know about this idea. And cause I said something like, or I pitched an idea to him and he was like, well, let me check with my buddies, or have you talked to anybody else in the community about this? And I'm like, well, no, I don't want them to steal it. And excuse the language, I usually try and watch my mouth, but he goes, Adam, ideas are shit. It's who does it? Like we all got ideas. We all got brilliant ideas. Who's going to go do it? Who's going to see it through? Don't worry about if somebody else has the idea or not. The chances are good they're going to sit on their butt and they're not going to go do it. So is it good enough for you to go do? And ironically, he and I never did that project. So, it was.
I think all those things, like I think about some silly stuff that I wanted to do before. It's not even that silly, but like I had this thought of, man, what if I made super banana, super enchy clowns?
Mm-hmm.
And then really, if you made, like for me, and I haven't made them in like a year, but like even a year ago, banana enchy clown females sell really well.
Yep.
For a good amount of money. The males are cheap, but if you could consistently make stuff like that, and you could know that you're going to make that, like you could really do very well, and it wouldn't be that hard to do. But are you going to, like, I think about that all the time. Because I think about doing this with pieds. I have a banana pied female and I have an enchy banana pied male. And I'm like, should I just breed those together and try to make super? And I'm like, because if I just did that, like, you could make good sellable snakes that would be not a bad thing to have.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's kind of going backwards. I don't know. Chad's always like, he always wants this cheap stuff. And I'm like, it's just what I don't know. It's what I'm kind of drawn to in a lot of ways, it seems.
Sort of on that idea, I was thinking today, I don't know, somebody asked me like, what would you do different or something like that? And they wouldn't have understood this answer, but this audience would understand it. And you would certainly understand it. Like there's certain things that you just have to do long enough till you learn it. And even if somebody tells you, you don't understand it. So you just think it's this word salad. But like what you were just talking about, like, what if the first things I had ever bought were just supers and allelic combos and I just bred those?
You'd be okay.
I would have been great. And it would have funded all the cool stuff. And I wouldn't have had to go through the headache of trying to sell, male het clowns for $10 or whatever at, so, but then I was like, I know what it was. I was looking at my pairing sheet and I was excited by it because I was like a super banana gargoyle to a mystic potion. I'm like, these are actually going to be badass babies that are just, every one of them is going to be cool. And I'm not going to get rich on them, but I could pay the bills to fund the other stuff that I want to do. You know?
Well, I know you just were up there, but I feel like when you look at Mark Mandic stuff, like I feel like I'm sure I know he has genes he's developed, but it seems like a lot of fairly simple stuff that's just beautiful that he's just kind of worked smart. Like, cause there's a lot of super OD, super like pied, whatever. Like I feel like he's taken those things and done the follow through. And again, I haven't been there, but like when I look at his stuff, I'm like, nothing is like crazy, but the result is incredible.
Yeah, I think
powerful.
I agree with you. And I think all of what you just said, but I also think he's somehow, and there's got to be something to it of what he's choosing. He's choosing some really, really good examples to work with, or he's got to be, or he's hiding the byproducts really, really well. Cause even in person, I didn't see a single thing where I was like, oh, that's just your junk byproduct. Now, of course, I mean, if you advance, you make hets and you make normals and you miss, I get it. But even like today, he posted an MJ Xanthic Mojave, maybe leopard or maybe black cat, like not that like you could set out with a vision and in 3 years make that animal from just day one kind of thing.
Right.
And it was beautiful. And, he doesn't mess around with his presentation either. So it looked even better because of how he presents things. But yeah, I agree with you. I think you can, sorry, this is now another level of change the top. I think so many people were like, and myself included, were like squirrels or dogs chasing squirrels rather than going, hey, in the hundreds that are in this room, what's the most amazing thing that you haven't worked toward that you could work toward? And that would probably really be, I don't know about life changing or industry changing, but it would be really profitable and make sense to pursue if we would just stop and focus on what we already have in the four walls, Do you feel that way?
Some of the best stuff he's had that I've seen is like the super OD Mojave Cypress clowns or super OD Mojave Cypress, even the hets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's really like, how hard is that to make? But nobody's really doing it, but you just see it and you're like, man, this stuff is beautiful. And people throw away Mojaves. Like, I mean, it's like not even anything fancy. And I'm just like, we're missing out because he just has good vision. And it just seems like he has really, really nice stuff.
Somebody told me one time, and I never know if people want me to quote them or not. So I'll just say somebody, but somebody told me one time, I was like, what about this gene or that gene? And he said, and he's really been a friend and a mentor and a successful breeder. He's like, look, that's for somebody, Adam, but I want to know what I'm working with and what I'm aiming for. And like, that's what Mark knows what Mojave is. He knows what Cypress is. And he thinks through, if I have this and I have this, what can I put here? And then I can attain this. And he comes out with the really nice stuff. I think it's really thoughtful. And rather than going, which is ironic because he's proven out several new genes of his own, but rather than going, what's this hot thing that everybody's hot on that I don't know what's going to happen?
Right.
And we're excited about what we don't know about. People buy with the mystery bags. Why are people buying mystery bags of anything, much less animals? But people love that stuff, man. I don't as much. I like that thought that guy told me.
And I've heard people before, and it might have even been the Sutherlands, or might have been one of those things where they're like, we don't do anything more than like a 2 or 3 gene snake because we want to know what's in there, but we try to make it so it's the best 2 or 3 gene snake. And so, you know, I mean, I think Will's probably another one of those guys. Will Moroz, like, I mean, all that stuff he makes is out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, he makes killer stuff. But then again, I mean, so does Marcus Jane. I mean, it's incredible to see the stuff that he's cranking out, and
I'm a little jealous you got to go there.
It was good. You know what? Maybe we should pay some bills, and then we could talk about your jealousy of me going to.
I'm good with that.
Mark Mandic's place. Audience, first, I should start this segment this way every time. First off, please don't turn away. Second, it's been ad-free. You didn't have to watch an ad to get in here. If you're watching replay, you're not going to be interrupted. These are people from within our industry supporting our industry. So I'd love for you to give them a shot, or at least think about giving them a shot. Consider them when they can meet your needs. So I ship with Redline Shipping. I choose them for their institutional knowledge, but first and foremost, for their service. There's a phone number you can call. You can talk to a human that is a reptile enthusiast and works in the industry and wants to help you transport your animals safely from point A to point B. And while it's still warm here in Minnesota, it's going to get cold. And I actually call and consult with them through most shipments of what do I need to pack in here, and what do you guys see as far as safety and reliability of getting this where it needs to go. So they have all the supplies, and go check them out. Promo code PROPER5 will get you $5 off of your next shipping label from Redline at redline.com. Speaking of service, is Charlie at shedtesting.com. Excuse me. If you didn't catch it, I guess it's been a month, 6 weeks ago, maybe even a little bit longer, but Charlie cut his prices significantly and improved his process so that there's less human interaction, which means less potential for errors and less variables, and a faster turnaround time of 5 business days right now. Go check out shedtesting.com. I'll tell you, there's about 40 different tests that are different genes that you can test for, recessives and dominants. He's got a full recessive panel that you can do. You can build your own panel test, up to 10 tests. 10 tests, $85, not $85 each, the whole thing. That gets down to $8.50 per test right now at shedtesting.com. The newest genes available are Lace, Monarch, Hurricane, and Monsoon. There's over 32 other genes available as well. Go check out shedtesting.com. Use the promo code PROPER10. Going to get yourself 10% off of 2 orders. You can order as many tests as you like per order. And if you're going to be one of those folks that gives me a hard time, well, it used to be 15%. Yeah, that was before he dropped his prices 40%. The guy deserves to be able to stay in business and to make some money. So go check out shedtesting.com. All right. Reagan, Renee, Royal Pythons. I spent actually a fair amount of time with, that's another Charlie. That is Charlie Ryan in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, from Reagan, Renee, Royal Python. Spent a fair amount of time with Charlie this week, just catching up with what he's got going on, what's currently happening in his operation, and most importantly, what's available to you all, the customers. Kryptons, he's doing amazing things with Kryptons. Go check that out if you have any interest in the Krypton project, or you're even just like, what's this buzz about Kryptons? Go check that out. Then stuff available right now, both visuals, double visuals, and then up to triple hets, but single, double, and triple ingredients. G-Stripe Clowns and G-Stripe Clown DG projects with various combos. That's what's the highlights right now. Go check that out on Charlie's Morph Market at Reagan, Renee, Royal Pythons. Portuguese Pythons is Danny and Renee Rocha. I thought a lot about them recently because my ultramels are starting to hatch, and most of my all of my ultramel pied project and most of my ultramel clown project comes from them. So they're great folks to work with out in Chino, California. They're working ultramel and puzzle, ultramel clown, ultramel pied, and in hypo projects as well. They also have projects like Sunset Hypo combos going on, and they do, much like Dennis was just talking about, they do really great things with like really dark genes in ultramel, or genes that really turn ultramel kind of electric with the like Bell complex genes or Cypress in ultramel. So go check out what Danny and Renee have going on. Great folks that I'm we're about to come around on our third like annual cycle. So I've been real happy to get to know them and thankful for their support. Sarah and Josh are SunDogSerpents out of Orlando, Florida. Speaking of people that I've done work with for a long time, I used to vend with them down in the Orlando and Tampa Repticon days. I've known them about 4 years now and gotten to see their collection and their success and their breeding accomplishments grow. They're doing cool stuff with TSK Xanthic, TSK Clown projects. They also just hatched some puzzle stuff, and they're doing a lot with super asphalts. Where I went one direction on gravel, they've gone on asphalt. If any of that's up your alley, give them a shot. Go check out Sarah and Josh at SunDogSerpents. Last but not least is B and S Reptilia. That is my vending partner, Chris at it's Chris Shelley at Tinley, and he'll be there next weekend with me. And Chris has everything from ball pythons to blood pythons, locality boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes. He will have the man, I haven't messed that up in a long time. Pituophis colubrids, the bull snakes and the pine snakes. He just got the permit paperwork all settled so he can bring them legally and safely, as of course he would do. And he'll make sure that you have the education and the knowledge to safely acquire one if you would like to, as well as the paperwork that you will need. I mentioned earlier, Chris and I own I only know of two that exist, but Chris and I own one of two rainbow clowns that I know exist. We're going to bring that female to Tinley. So if you want to check out a rainbow clown in person, come on by the booth as well. All the way back, all the way left will get you to the Proper Royals B and S Reptilia booth. We hope to see you there at Tinley next weekend. Thanks to all the sponsors. Audience, thanks to you all. This is nearly 4 years running now on Tuesday nights, and most of it's just because you come back. And so I keep doing it. Thanks so much. And tonight we're hanging out with Dennis McNamara from DJM Reptiles. Dennis, you... Well, first I was telling everybody at the very beginning, you and I become kind of buddies and friends. And so I get back from Toronto and you text me and you're like, man, I got to tell you, I really, really wish I could have gone to Mark's place, man. It was cool. And I'm not saying this to like rub it in your face or anything, but you were talking about some logistics stuff, and Mark is really, really open about what he's got going on. So I figured if you could ask some questions and I could answer for you or something like that, or I don't know, I'll fill you in on whatever you want to know of Mark's place.
No, that's good. And I thought of another angle for the question you had earlier while we had that break, just to interject. So I was like, I do all the milk snakes and stuff on the bottom. But really one of the easiest things, and I find is the short tail stuff.
Okay.
Like having these Sumatran short tails. My son can pick up any of those out of the boxes, from the egg boxes to whatever else. Those being able to be in here with no heat, more or less, because they like it like 81, 83.
Oh, nice.
Like picking and choosing the right species, it really works. And that species is like, they're just calmer, better. I don't know. They're cooler in some ways. I really like some of the blood pythons and short tail pythons I have, but like a really nice dark black short tail with orange eyes is hard to beat.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Especially when they get decent size and they're just all chill. So it's nice. They are born chill pretty much. So it's nice.
Now, not blood pythons though, right?
I have some of the blood pythons I have are a little more cantankerous, but they're okay as long as you pick them up and support them well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say some of those can be iffy. Depends. Like I have some locality ones that are F1s. They're a little more high strung, just because they're first generation out of the wild.
Yeah.
Whereas the Sumatrans have been bred multiple generations, and they're all just, I don't know. Again, my son was going through the boxes. I produced like 33 of them this year or something like that. He's just reaching in the boxes, pulling them out, handling them, doing whatever else. Not one even try to strike at him. He'll go in there and pick them up now. They don't even care. So
yeah,
it's picking and choosing the right species. And I'd almost say they're easier than ball pythons in some ways because they just eat well, they do well, they don't need a lot of extra heat. Mm-hmm. So I always think that's one of those. That's my sales pitch for that. But those are a great snake as far as if you want something different, but you like the body structure of ball python, but want something a little beefier. Those are something that would like work in your room. So picking out the things that fit.
Right. You know. Yeah, exactly. We don't need to build new rooms every time that we want to get
that would fit well. And I know like Craig has those, Bash Coder has those as well.
Okay.
So, some other people I know, Frank Bird has those. Like, it's just a cool, I don't know, it's a cool snake that people should. step out from if they're looking for something to go to the next one.
All right.
But
okay. Well, now I've got one. There's been a topic that's come up in conversation lately, and I actually dove in with Heart of the Python guest last week on the show. What's your opinion? And I value your opinion because you work professionally with reptiles in a zoo environment. So this isn't just like a dude in the basement with a ring light and a pink jersey on here. Is there anything to breeding ball pythons or snakes in general for temperament? Like if one's a sweetheart,
sure.
Is that what you want to breed? They're going to pass. Is there like there's a het for sweetheart?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you see it. I mean, I work with retics at work, and we have one retic that's a multi-generation, normal, nice animal, and one that's like an F1 wild caught, pain in your neck, try to eat you every once in a while. And I think you see that with blood pythons too. A lot of the blood python morphs are chill.
But that's but you're
that's
saying
from multi-generations of just out of the wild. Now, I'm
would
sure there's something.
Would there be like a line of like kindness? Like if you found one that was nice, its babies are going to be nice.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know that I know the answer exactly. I know there's a guy named Dan Magano who still has some short tails, but he basically like all of his snakes were like just nice animals, and he was breeding only nice animals. And if it wasn't nice, he didn't keep it.
Yeah.
And so I think if you got something for him, it was almost always handleable, tractable. And that was blood python, short tail pythons, just different stuff. And so I think there is something to it. I mean, I think you can breed and you can line breed, color, whatever else. I'm sure temperament is part of it.
Huh.
And we also get, getting them a little less wild, I think helps.
Oh, I think that helps a lot. And I another topic that came up is, do we even really need to be importing any more ball python? I mean, I feel like we've probably got enough. Yeah, we've probably got enough.
Yeah, we're probably okay.
We're probably okay.
Okay.
And just to be clear, I'm not knocking Heart of the Python. As a matter of fact, they made a very compelling argument. We breed dogs that apparently all came from a wolf,
right, for
very different temperaments and very different skill sets and very different lifestyles.
And that works.
So it does work, and it has worked, and that's worked for centuries because that's how we have different, I guess we call them species now, but certainly different, pure breeds of dogs that we, by definition, we just described are not pure of anything because we bred them for all these variety of things. So they made a very compelling argument, but then I still find myself like rolling my eyes sometimes. This is me when people are like, well, this one's really sweet and I'm definitely going to breed it because of its temperament. And I'm like, I feel like there's a nature versus nurture thing there, but
I think they're definitely, I think the anthropomorphism in the world today is a little over the top in some cases.
It is. Yeah.
I think it's wonderful that people care so much and want to do things, but sometimes, goodness gracious, so I'm sure there's something to it. Could it just be that they're not in the wild for a long time? But I also I think they're definitely because you also probably aren't breeding the nastiest versions.
Yeah. And yeah. So, I mean, I still go back and then I find myself going back to the dog argument or just what you're talking about. Like, yeah, the meanest one that attacks you for 3 years, you're probably going to be like, somebody else can deal with this one.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't get bred.
Breed that out. That thing's going to get out of the gene pool.
There's Darwin right there at his finest.
Unfortunately, we don't do that with people.
Well, easy now. I'm not sure we're supposed to, but I don't want any part of that conversation.
If it was all just nice people having babies, it'd be a lot better sometimes.
Right. But then there's the old, I don't remember much from my psychology classes, but there's the old B.F. Skinner who gets a very bad reputation because he was pretty unethical, but his argument was, give me anything and I'll turn it into whatever you want it to be with enough, positive and negative reinforcement. And, most of his work was on pigeons, but I think he was a little bit excited to try some of this stuff on humans. And that's probably not great either. And
I mean, I've had 26 years or almost 26 years in the zoo industry, and like the operant conditioning stuff that you're doing, all of that positive, negative emission, you really can affect the behavior of animals by doing it. It's definitely something that you can change.
Right.
And you can make stuff that starts out crazy, and you could chill them out. You can, there's a lot of observation, a lot of common sense that goes down in that as well. But you really can make a big difference by really your delivery and consistency. The 3 C's: be clear, concise, and consistent. If you do all of those things, then and I think, shoot, you could probably do that in business and whatever else.
That's right.
Those are things you just need to do.
Yep. And what I don't want to get lost, especially if any like new customers or people I've recently met are watching, that consistency part is one of the things I preach the absolute most. Feed at the same time, handle at similar times. If there's a time you don't handle, make it consistent that you don't handle. Then the snake starts to learn your routines and what to expect, and responds better to feeding and to being handled when it can be consistent. And I believe that wholeheartedly.
Well, and there's a lot to be said for how, like, because people are always like, they sense things, but like most of it is you really like, are you comfortable? Is that the time that you're at your best or at your worst or at your whatever else? And are you jerky at that point in time? Are you relaxed? Are you slow? Are you even? Are you, are you hyper? All those things really affect the outcome. And so, just putting yourself in a position where you're like, you have that consistency where that's what you're going to do at that time. And you're probably in a different place mentally that you're going to do the right thing and not half-ass it or not rush through it or not whatever else.
Right. What at the zoo, what's the animal that you have to interact with that still gets you a little antsy, where you're like, all right, I better focus and pay attention here?
Well, I mean, I don't know that I'd say anything really gets me antsy. We have a good venomous collection. So, I mean, if we're doing anything venomous, then I would say.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we have big reticulated pythons. We have crocodile. We have a Siamese crocodile. We've got a handful of rattlesnakes. We've got rhino viper, eyelash vipers, cottonmouth, king cobra. So, I mean, whenever you're dealing with any of that stuff, you just need to be paying attention and doing it well.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize you had that collection of the venomous stuff too.
Yeah. So, and beaded lizards and Gila monsters, and no, it's a great collection. It's 98 species of cool stuff. That's
real cool.
It's a super cool stuff, but yeah, I mean, you just gotta, I don't know that anything gets me anxious, luckily, good or bad, but luckily, I really, nothing riles me up. So it's kind of one of those things. It's just another day, as long as you just make sure you're focused. Don't be on your phone at that time. Don't be paying, if you're having an off day, then realize you're having an off day and don't do it.
What about any of them? Do you primarily work alone, or do you work with colleagues or trainees? Like, I've
got employees.
Yeah. Are there animals that you're like, all right, I'm fine, but I'm choosing who comes in with me, or does this work with me?
I mean, certain people are checked off on certain things. So, but my job is to train them to do all of those things. So we pick and choose what it is you're going to be at. And then really the goal is for everybody to be able to do the same thing as me. So, well, 3 out of the 4 that I have can do everything. Mm-hmm. And one, life seems to get in the way. She could do it, but we just haven't we just have to do it. We just, it's just, there's always something. Yeah. So it's really, a lot of it's about time, and, so just, again, life gets in the way sometimes. It makes it harder to do the things you need to do, but no, I have great quality staff. And so
and I didn't mean to insinuate that. Yeah. And you used a really great word where you said, well, they're signed off or they're checked off. Like, yeah, I wouldn't. And then I'm saying this to myself now, where I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not going to put the prep cook on the grill on Friday night and then be like, oh, big surprise, that didn't go well. Like, you're not going to do that to, hey, so that was a nice job you did with the garter snake. Go feed the cobra. You're not going to do that,
Right. No, we go through, and I mean, when you're doing venomous, I mean, we have a check sheet. You're going through, you're going to work a cottonmouth first, then you're going to kind of go from there. And like, as you master one, then you move on to the next, and then you move on to the next. And then once you're done with the whole list, then we can go through and feed, and then we can kind of go from that step. And so we basically just kind of break it down. So that way I always just preface it with, we go at their pace, not at my pace. And and then we kind of get it all done and do it safely, and everybody's happy and walks away.
It's amazing how universal some things are. Like, whether I was the new guy, I did an internship at a winery in Napa one year, and it was like, hey, you're not going anywhere near that. You're not ready for it. And you're not going to be in the time of your internship. Like it's same, like I say, same thing with the grill, or I'm sure, farmers and machinery. I don't know. I forget that like everything can be turned into a system or a process and done properly and excellently.
Well, I think when I was I worked in a deli from 14 to 17, and I was like, thank God I got out of there before I was 18, because every single person that worked there that was over 18 ended up in the hospital from the meat slicer.
I was just about to say, I bet I know what it is. I had that blade go under my thumbnail one time, and then another, just cleaning it nicked my pinky. And,
I saw everybody. I think every single employee that was ever over 18, and I quit and started working at a pet store before I was 18. I was like, thank God I got out of here before I got on that thing. It is, there's danger in everything that you do. You just got to make sure you put yourself in the right position.
You were smarter than me. I did stay, and I did get eaten by the meat slicer, and I turned it into a career. But to this day, I remember those are the fastest and the most painful cuts I've ever got. I've had plenty of cuts from sharp knives, but that thing, this day, it's like I hear the little like the little sound it makes while it's spinning through my thumbnail. I can hear it, man. Man. No good.
All right, make sure we don't forget about the Mark Mandic thing.
Okay, let's go. What do we got there?
So for me, the thing of somebody like that is, he's been doing it for a long time for a living. So there's obviously things that he does that work. And I just wonder, can you tell what it is that he does? Because my guess would be he does things so it's as efficient as possible, but he's also taking care of the animals in the best way possible. So for me, usually it's like, what bedding, how did he have water bowls? Do you have hide boxes? Was it looks like it's all ARS or all Freedom Breeder. I wonder which one he prefers,
Yeah, I can't speak to which one he prefers. I think it was ARS, but I do not know. I can't attest to that. And it may very well have been mixed and matched. So on kind of the macro level of what you just talked about, like, you could tell when you walk into a shop or a kitchen, or I bet behind the scenes at the zoo, everything has a place and everything was in its place. If he needed forceps, he knew where the forceps were because they were in the right place, kind of deal.
Right.
Or like I say, in a kitchen, if I needed a certain knife, I knew where it was because we weren't just throwing stuff willy-nilly everywhere. Like it was, and if it wasn't necessary, it wasn't in there. There was no clutter in his shop, none whatsoever, no clutter at all in there. So that kind of tells me a lot from a process-driven, organized, and he didn't have stuff just to show off. Like there wasn't like trinkets and hobbies. Like that was a workspace is kind of what I took from it. Neat things. I didn't get to see it in action, but I heard him discussing it. He cleans with he spot cleans with a shop vac. There's a shop vac, and that shop vac was pristine. It looked brand new, but apparently it's been in there for quite some time. He cleans with a shop vac. To some extent, obviously there's certain messes you're not going to clean. It doesn't matter how close you get the shop vac, you're going to do some scrubbing or change out the tub. And then there were some, matter of fact, I'm nearly certain, I still couldn't testify in court. I'm nearly certain it was ARS, and he had a pretty good affinity for the owner / engineer at ARS, because he has, some tubs that I asked him about. They're divided. You take like a 50 series tub, and it's divided. It's divided in half, but not lengthwise, like perpendicular to the length of the tub. It's right. Divided, but it has a little cutout. It's almost like a hide that's been turned upside down. And I asked him about that, and he said, well, he finds that a lot of snakes like to feel like pressure all around them. So if they want to climb in there, they can, but there's a climb out if they want to stretch out or they want to get to the cool side. And he says that some of his do very well in that. And I did ask him, I said, do you start your hatchlings in there? Do you find that that's a suitable starting point for the hatchlings? He said, no, I don't have a hatchling rack. I said, oh, okay. Cause I'd heard Will Moroz was there with us, and I'd heard Will talk about well, if they're holdbacks, they just go straight into the 50s because that's where they're going to live. And I'd rather not have them go through the changes later, rather have them get used to it now. I myself still like hatchling tubs and moving them up, but that made hearing Will's comment about it, and Will, and I don't want to speak for them, but it was clear to me, Will and Mark are dear friends, and there's definitely a mentor-mentee and admiration going both ways. So I thought that maybe that was a belief that they both practiced or used, but Mark said no, not at all. He uses the hatchlings and then puts them into the tubs there. So I'm trying to think of any other specific examples. He was using Coco, and I didn't see any like. In a lot of people's collection, you see something and you're like, let me look on the label because it just looks normal. What are these hats, or what is this single gene that I'm not familiar with? I didn't know what I was looking at, but none of them were like, that just looks like a ball python. There must be something buried. His stuff was just like, it's special because you see it right on the surface there. Now I did look on the labels, and he's got his own language on the labels. I have no clue what was in those. I like, he broke it down. He's like, oh, that means super orange dream. And then I guess he's been around long enough that there were certain things that had different names 30 years ago that he still uses. I guess he said pastels used to be called jungles.
Yeah.
So in his nomenclature, J means pastel. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to learn. I'm not going to decipher this evening, but this is interesting,
Interesting. I guess that way maybe he can use P for pinstripe or something like that, or whatever else.
Right. Yeah. And it was funny because Will knew it. Will was like, oh, this is a such and such. And I was just like, all of them, that right off the top? He's like,
right.
Yeah, I've been in here long enough. Yeah, I know what's going on in here. Okay, cool. And then, so he has two rooms, but they're both, not that you guys can see the dimensions of this room. I don't think either room was bigger than this basement room that I'm in. And this room here is 350 square feet. I do know that. It's an odd shape, but it is 350 square feet. I don't think either room was bigger than this room, but it was packed. You open one tub and it's going all the way to the other tub. Like, you have space to pull it down, but that's about it. And they're facing each other.
Right. So he's packing. To me, the other thing is like people that do it for a living, like what size collection makes it. But I think that depends on what projects you're doing. But like, so obviously he had a lot of snakes in there. I mean, I saw one of your videos. I was like, there was more than I was expecting to see.
Yeah.
I guess I thought it was just half of that.
I think again, this is just me surmising, and Mark can certainly speak for himself, but I think if I were under oath and somebody said how many, let's just call them ARS 55s or 70s, how many were in there? I'd say there was 8 and potentially up to 10, but I think 8 would be my answer. So 8 times 40, so 320 of, holdbacks, adults, soon to be adults, and breeders in that number. It's a good chunk. And if they were 70s, so maybe it's 300. And then the hatchling room, I think, had 7 or 8 of the 75. I think 1075 is the number from ARS, but I don't know what 75 times, 550 or so hatchling spaces.
Right.
And they weren't all full at that time, but then again, I have no idea if he had just cleared a bunch out or if he cycles through. I don't know. But that's just what I saw. And I'm not even sure. It's all very cavernous and where he had stuff. I'm not even sure there wasn't another room that I'm not aware of either. But because he's got all his rodents, and that's sort of on like a hill. So it feels like a basement, but it's really just a walkout area. And he told me, even in Toronto, that in that, in his, at least in the adult snake room, that there wasn't any heat in there. The only heat that he uses is the snake rack heat,
Wow.
the heat panels. Yeah. And he said that it's packed in so closely. There's so much heat there. Cause I was looking for cause he has a fan exhausting out. And I said, well, where's your fresh air intake? He's like, just the window. And I'm like, you don't pump warm air in here? He's like, no. I just bring cool air in. Cause there's so much heat generated in there because they're packed in so much.
I mean, I have one rack that's ambient. The rest of them are all heat. And I still have to run 2 heaters in here in Virginia.
That's how I am. Well, I mean, I'm in Minnesota. I don't know, but they are packed in. Now, I will say too, the rodent room is immediately adjacent to it. So it might be catching some ambient heat or radiant heat coming off of that.
It'd be okay if I didn't have to run any extra heat in here, if I could just run it all off of that. But yeah, I would worry I'd get too cold. Interesting. It's interesting.
I'm actually curious to see this winter in my place because I don't have nearly the amount of snakes, and my new place is 480 square feet, but I have thousands of rodents in there. I'm actually curious as to if I'm going to.
They're all in the same room, right? Don't they all sharing the space, kind of?
Yeah, there's like a corridor I turn the room into 2 corridors. So there's the rodent side and then the snake side. And then I have those like plastic flaps and restaurant walk-in coolers that keep the dust in the rodent side. But those things pump out some heat. And my fresh air intake from the exhaust is from it's actually from the pump room in the, in the car wash. So that's a little bit warmer than the ambient air. But I'm curious if I'm going to have to open up the doors, or if I'm going to be able to run it. So I have floor heat, but I can turn that zone off of the floor heat in there too. So I'm curious this winter to see what I run into with that. But I thought that was really interesting when he said, I was like, even in winter, and he's like, yeah, it's a ton of heat produced in here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now I want to try it and like not run anything else and just see what happens. But I guess I'll pick and choose tonight to do that. But yeah,
you can ease into it. You don't have to wait for the single digit night, and I heard, I'll leave you with this. I heard, and I wish I could give correct credit to it. If you talk to Will at Tinley or whenever Mark had nothing on this was all Will's, but I remembered Will talking about this. He said that there's a really well-known breeder in Canada that in December.
Oh, Cory Woods. Yeah.
What's that?
Cory Woods is the guy's name.
You know where I'm going with this?
Hey, he turns his heat. It gets like 45 or 55 in there for, I think, 3 days.
Yeah, I think it's 3 days, and then slowly brings them up. And then he says like 90% of them go after that, and they all lay at the same time. And that's it. Yeah,
no, I've that guy's like the mayor of his town or something like that. Yeah, he is, I think. So no, I've watched. It's interesting. Those are the things. Like to me, I always want to know like what bedding to use, what cages are used, and which racks, and then usually like what's your feeding schedule? Like how are you feeding? Are you feeding weekly? You feeding because I know like Billy does it. Didn't I see a thing where he feeds like every other week, even from hatchlings on? And I know some people do every week, some people do more, some people do.
Yeah,
that stuff intrigues me because there's no one way to do everything, and I'm always interested to see what people do that works.
Yeah, well, it is Cory Woods. I got a little itch to try that, but then like I'm scared. Actually, I don't want to try it though, because if all of my hatchlings come at once, I absolutely don't have space. I do not have the space for 35 or 40 clutches of hatchlings all at once. I would just cry. I would just be like, what?
You have to bring them all back in there.
Yeah, I'd be moving back again. So I have a little bit of fear of them all like in 5 years cycling to where they're at the same time. And I've been told it'll happen. Like I'm sort of anticipating that in some ways.
I worry about that in here because of all the things I have, which I'm like, I like having all this stuff, but I'm like, man, if I really put the effort in and had it all go, I'm like, what the hell would I do? But I obviously don't, I pick and choose, but still it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, and it helps with like my rodent production. I don't ever need, 300 hoppers at once, which I don't ever have. And then I don't ever not need certain amount of hoppers. So I'm not getting overrun either with stuff that I don't need. So I like them spread out, but as I hopefully evolve to where I'm not buying new stuff constantly, because I'm just about at a terminal velocity as far as volume, in my opinion, for myself. I'm afraid that they're going to like sync up, and because they'll have the same seasons. They're not going to be coming from Florida or Pennsylvania or California or wherever I buy snakes from. They're going to be my holdbacks that have the same seasons and the same routine year after year here. So,
which is better? I know Scott Wilkinson did that. He did that where he sold off the whole collection, I believe, and then like started off with all like his whole, like only his own babies.
Oh, okay.
He basically made his own full. He kept every baby from like, I think a whole breeding year and just made, that's his whole collection. Got rid of everything else. So it's all stuff he raised on his cycle. No outward influence of any other disease, any whatever else, and just like did it all himself. And he seems to be super successful. He's another guy. I like those. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Fun.
See, is British or Australian?
British. Yeah.
Okay. It is who I'm thinking of.
He'll be there next week or 2 weeks from now. He'll be there in Tinley, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know who he is. And actually he always says hello to me, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I do know who he is. I didn't know that about his collection though. Well, Dennis, we've as we do, we've gone into overtime a little bit.
Right.
And that's always a good sign when we've comfortably gone the distance here. Hey, travel safe next week. I'm looking forward to hanging out. I know we both stay busy, but we always seem to rendezvous at the end of the night in the
right. When do you get in? We get in there. We'll get in there Thursday night probably. So
I'll be there Friday midday is when I'll arrive. And you're in the same spot, right, on the back wall there?
Yeah. Yep.
So like that's what I should say. Go all the way back until you see Dennis. Say hi to Dennis.
Yeah, and then
then
take a
go
left.
all the way left from Dennis.
Yeah.
There we go. That's how we need to do it. There we go.
I love those perimeter things. I mean, just because it's everybody behind you.
Yeah.
I like being on that, especially if they always adjust it, but especially if I'm like right in the middle of an aisle, so you can like as you come down the aisle, I'm like,
oh yeah, that's
right there. That's what I want. And plus they're a little bit cheaper, so I like that too. But I like the spot.
I don't know the pricing because I just took whatever I could get. And the first time I was like, oh, shove me in the very back corner back here. Like I even have like a little pylon behind me. Like I don't even have the full booth behind me, but now I kind of like it because it's hard to describe to people. Like I don't want to pick anybody specifically, but trying to describe, well, I'm in the seventh row. It's a nightmare to describe where you're at.
Well, I know I have friends. I'll be like, I want to go find them, and I can't find them because I'm like, have I been down that aisle like before? It's like it's like where's Waldo in there? That's why I like the perimeter just because it's a little bit easier to find. It's it's on the outside, and then again, I don't feel like you get lost in the mix like the aisles do. Now, I mean, there's a couple aisles like where Chad is, where Kittinger and Corey and
they're bangers of
Steve
aisles
over there. Like that aisle is like. You got to go down that aisle, I mean, there's always good stuff over there, but like, but there's a lot of aisles. I don't know that you might even miss that they exist.
And you don't know if you've already been down them. If you don't know the people, like you're like, I don't know, did I see this or what? Yeah. So anyway, I've come to actually appreciate my spot. And I was even asked, I have to say, now I don't know if they were asking as in to offer me a different place, but I was asked if I liked my spot, and I certainly wasn't going to say no. So I was like, yeah, it's great. And they're like, okay, cool.
Hey, we've had people rotate next to us. So you're always welcome down that way. If you ever want to come down the aisle.
I got my routine. I got my shtick, man, all the way back, all the way left right here, man. Come see me.
There you go.
I'll be in Friday, and I do an early dinner Friday, and then I'll probably just hang out at the hotel bar after that on Friday.
I'll see you down there.
Saturday, I think, is my like corporate night. I might have, I don't know. I'm not sure what my schedule looks like on Saturday night. I think I have to go spend some time with meetings I'm happy to attend, but I think I need to attend some meetings kind of deal.
I get that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Dennis, travel safe. You got a long way to go. And I hope the show is good for you, but I'll definitely see you there. I'll look forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. I think I'm expecting it to be a good one. The shows this year so far have been very good, so I can't complain. So I'm hoping that we'll keep it going.
Rock and roll. Let's keep at it. What's our alternative? We're going to hope for it different now. I'm going to go and kill it if I can. Sounds good, Dennis. I'll see you soon, man. Thanks as always.
Good, man. Thanks.
All right, my pleasure. Audience, we'll do the same thing, same time, same place next week. Thanks as always, guys. See ya.